name is Jenny Gonzalez with Keller Williams. My license number is 01249788. I've been licensed since 1998. My cell phone number is 951-316-0374, and I'm at jennygSellsHomes.com. I am very excited to be hosting today's show on the Powers Now TV. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today's show is being sponsored by Eric Frazier from First Bank, and we're also being sponsored by Blake with Morrison Plus Property Inspections. We have an exciting show for you today. First, I'm going to dive into some market data on what's happening in Corona. And then we have Blake from Morrison Plus Property Inspections. And we're going to be talking about home inspections and your options. Then we have Golden State Finance Authority today, and we will be talking about down payment assistance. And if we have time, we're going to talk about homes for sale and what you should do if you're looking to buy or sell your home. That's our show lineup. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to dive into the market.
Want to keep up with the current developments happening in the world of real estate? The Real Estate Roundtable, hosted by Eric L. Frazier, is a show you do not want to miss. The show features a panel of VIP agents who are passionate about helping people. It is what they do best. They discuss today's hot topics, latest market updates and trends. The panel also conducts interviews with prominent figures in the industry. New episode every Friday live on Facebook and replay on the Powers Now YouTube channel.
So here are real market numbers from our Market Lewis suite and Altos. And these are real market numbers. So as of today, our median list price is between $730 and $765, with $361 per square foot as the average, which is high per square foot now. Now, our days on market have really changed. They're averaging from 7 to 35 days, but it's actually really a lot different than that, and we'll get to that later. I also want to talk about price decreases. This is the first time I'm seeing single digits. We're at 6% of houses that have price decreases. In the last couple of months, we've been in double digits, even in the 20s. And then price increases, we're now getting into the double digits on price increases. And inventory, we are still under 100 listings. We were at 80 listings last time, now we're at 96. The average rent in Corona is $3,200 a month. If you're paying $3,200 a month for rent, you need to start buying a home so that you're not wasting your money. So you need to contact me. Our market action is at 90, which means that's a strong seller's market. So if you're ready to sell, give me a call. So now let's talk about what's been going on and if there's going to be a bubble. I cannot tell you that. All I can show you is a graph for the last 2.5 years, and there's no dip. It's just a matter of mountains and hills. Now I want to talk about days on market. Now we're showing 0 days on market for both the first-time home buyers, the second home buyers, and almost $1 million. 7 days for $800,000, 31 days for $1 million. And our median price for first-time home buyers is at $592,500, which is down from $630 a couple of weeks ago. And that's for a 1,568 square foot home, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And if you see, there's 0 days on market. And last time we had at least 7 days on market. So that's our deep dive in the market. And that's our market update. So now we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll get to our special guest. Homebuyer Townhall Corona. My name is Jenny Gonzalez. Please go to thepowersnow.com and check out our other TV shows, magazines, podcasts, and special events. The Power is Now is a great resource for anyone looking to buy or sell real estate. With us today is Blake Sturkle with Morrison Plus Property Inspections. Blake Sturkle was born in 1986 to a father who was a general contractor and a mother who was a real estate agent and interior designer. He grew up busy every weekend and summer working with his parents in the field or on the job sites. As years passed, he grew many skills in building construction and finishing work. Doing this type of work led him to being a successful property inspector. In 2015, Blake obtained his real estate license after buying and selling a few of his own properties and rehabbing them. He then helped several buyers buy their first homes as well. Through this process, he realized he loved the real estate industry, but not necessarily as a real estate agent. From 2009 on, Blake was recruited to be lead inspector at Morrison Plus Property Inspections corporate office. With a different career in mind, he never pursued it, but was always interested. As you see, he obtained a real estate license a few years after. Blake finally took the plunge and switched over to being an affiliate of the real estate industry in 2018 as a franchise owner of 2 locations in the Inland Empire. Today, his crew of 2 completes about 1,000 inspections per year for buyers and sellers alike. He has been ranked as a top 3 home inspector in Rancho Cucamonga in 2021 and fastest growing home inspection franchise over the last few years. Welcome, Blake, to The Power is Now Homebuyer Townhall Corona. Thank you so much for attending today. Can you please give us your information for contact information, please?
I really appreciate being on here today. I've been quite excited. So I am Blake Sturkle with Morrison Plus Property Inspections. We've been around since 2006 and really now are venturing out into, now we have over 20 locations through California, Nevada, Arizona, Nebraska's coming along here soon, in Texas. So we're growing great. I'm the Rancho Cucamonga, or I like to say the Western Inland Empire location, but we serve all of Southern California. If you're looking for a great home inspector, give us a shot. And you can always find us at morrisoninspects.com and just find the location nearest to you. And
your cell phone number for
contact me, call, text anytime, 909-851-7091. Or if you want to have a little fun and call the business line, it all still comes to my cell phone anyway. That's 877-858+, the inspectors that you know and trust.
Awesome. Let's go on an adventure today, Blake. I'm so excited to see what you got for us. You got a really cool home inspection for us. Tell us why it's so important to do a home inspection, whether you're a seller or a buyer.
Yeah, that's a great question. So obviously coming in, I'll address the first one, which is real easy, the buyers. You know, you really do deserve to know everything about the property that you can find out. And so, you know, as a property inspector, what I do and kind of what you get is a thorough in-depth inspection beyond all the pretty stuff, is what I like to say. You know, the cabinets are beautiful, great, I don't care. You know, the countertops are, oh, I love the color, I don't care. You know, I come in and I look at all the nuts and bolts of the house and check all your drain lines and electrical, all the outlets for proper polarity, grounding, make sure everything is properly installed. And, you know, check for the big ticket items to make sure you know you're getting yourself into something that that you want to and that you know about, you know, water damage, structural issues, safety hazards. And we really want to make sure everything works with normal function through a house. So the benefit is that you get to know what you're spending money on. And
or possibly, Blake, you can also have a house that really just has some cosmetic stuff and really nothing at all. And you can say to a buyer, this is a really great house as well. You not just the bad stuff, right?
I love going. So I'm glad you bring that up. So, you know, I get giddy about this. When I get to go through a house and see maybe a new system that's been installed, like a new roof. Ooh, I get excited. And I want to tell the buyer all about this new shiny toy that they have. And I think I get more excited than them sometimes, because I know the work and effort and financial commitment it took to put that new roof in. And and I truly get excited. So besides just saying going and finding deficiencies in the house, it's also great to be able to go through a house and understand the way a property works as well. And that's what's fun about being a property inspector, is I get to go on a new adventure on every job and find out what people have done and why they did it and how they did it. And as the buyer, you deserve to know those things.
And sometimes you get stories, right?
Oh, stories. Do I have stories for you?
So why should sellers in this market still ponder getting a home inspection before they decide to list a property?
I like the way you use the word ponder. Uh, because as if you're following the market right now, it is very much we have low inventory. It's the sellers have the command right now, and one day it'll change. It always flips back and forth. But in this market, sure, why should a seller do this? And that all really comes down to personal decisions on what they're looking for their property. Think about how smooth a transaction can go if everyone's on the same page out the gates. And the seller says, hey, look, we did our due diligence. We had a unbiased third party come in here and tell us everything that's wrong with our house. And this is what we have. This is what we've done to fix some of these things. And here's other information that we found out that we didn't even know.
It provides value. It provides more value to the buyer.
Absolutely. So if you're kind at heart and want to do those things, then great. Other states, it is required in some states and in some jurisdictions to have a seller do a pre-inspection prior to listing their house. Here in California, we don't require that yet. So, if it happens one day and gets there, I think it's being done for a reason.
I completely agree with you. Before COVID hit and we had this whole craziness, I had a couple of things that I always had sellers want to do. Get the home inspection done, get your termite inspection done, and get yourself an appraisal. And those were the three things that I always would suggest that home sellers would do prior to listing a property. But that kind of flew out the window once we started getting all these buyers that really didn't care what they were buying. But now we're starting to see that people really true are caring what they're buying, because homes are staying on the market longer. And we know there's more buyers than homes out there. So they're being a little more picky.
Yeah. I'm seeing that too. And, I'm not even a real estate agent. I just see it from my end representing buyers. And, some of these transactions, I just overhear the conversation. It's like, wow, they're giving away their firstborn for this one. All right. And I'm like, whoo, man, no repairs, no appraisal, no anything. Just we'll take it. And I'm glad though that the good agents out there are still pushing to get the inspection completed.
So are you ready to take us on an adventure? You want to describe what you're going to do for us?
Sure. So, everyone kind of has an idea, kind of some of the things that we do. The thing is that a lot of the times the buyers and agents have no opportunity to go where we get to go. And a couple of those places is the roof. A lot of the times no one goes on roofs with me. In the attic, no one goes in the attics with me. Some people do, but not many, not very many. And last but not least is going underneath the property. People generally, oh, look at your face. I know, isn't that fun?
I actually had a home inspector about 15 years ago that had his jumpsuit, and he said, okay, Jenny, it's your turn to go under. I'm like, no, I'm not being paid for that.
You didn't take him up on that one, did you?
No.
It's I don't mind any of it. I shouldn't. I do this for a living. And but going under properties is probably not the worst. It's the attics. It is. It's the dirt and the dust and your footing and where you're stepping in, or what you don't know where you're stepping to. And just and the rodents. You get the rodents in the attic. I don't get rodents underneath houses. They go up in the attics. So I prefer under the house, to be honest. I do.
Okay, all right.
But today I thought it would be kind of cool. I'm out here at one of my properties. I know it needs a little bit of maintenance here and there going on. So I thought I'd take you to one of these places you never get to go. And that's the roof.
Awesome, let's go.
All right, let's do it. So I've already set up my ladder over here. I'm going to flip my camera around. It's going to be probably easier to do it. Okay. Let's see if we can figure out how to do that. I'm sorry.
It's okay, because they cut all this other stuff out anyways.
Oh, good, because I don't know what I'm doing right now. Oh, there we go. There's my option. There we go. There's my ladder. Okay. Oh, wait, I think I did it again. I say you keep all that in there. That's fun. Okay, let's go. All right, so I have my ladder set up. So we're going to go ahead and go on up here.
Single story.
Single story roof. Now, as I go up the roof, I always get a real good look at different vantage points. That's something extremely important. I think it's overseen or underappreciated.
I'm obsessed with roofs.
You're obsessed with roofs?
Yes.
All right, so I'm glad we chose this one today. So, out the gates as I'm going up, I'm looking at different things, everything from the wood eaves and fascia boards to the flashing and then the actual roof coverings. So I'm going to see kind of what I can see underneath them as much as possible without doing any damage, obviously. And then also, as I'm going up, I look for other stuff. What could be impacting our roof's life? And right here, we have this great tree. Well, if we don't keep this tree maintained, it's going to smack the roof a little bit and kind of beat it up. So, I'll just stuff like that. I'll just kind of make mention to the buyers just to kind of keep an eye on, All right. So first step here, we have our roof covering. And what we have here, part of the inspection is not just going around looking for deficiencies, but it's also telling you what type of roof that you have. So in this case, we have a 3-tab architectural shingle styled roof. Now this is going to give us a 25 to 30 year lifespan here in California. And we're going to go ahead and see what type of life it looks like and what we have going on. So first I'm going to go ahead and look under here and look at the roofing paper underneath and see how many layers we have. We just have one. As I go up, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but it almost looks like a shininess. You can see the shininess on the roof.
I see it's kind of, it's kind of funky.
So what does that tell you?
Worn.
Yeah, it's worn a little bit, isn't it? So right out the gates, and then I come over here and go, oh, we have new shingles. Very nice.
Patch job.
So we know that there's some work on this roof. They're piecing it together at this point. And I can kind of estimate based on seeing this degranulation through the roofing here that we're pushing probably 20 to 25 years on this roof right now with a 25 to 30 year roof life. So it's not a bad idea to probably have a roofer take a closer look at what we have underneath it and address any type of maintenance that's currently going on.
Quick point, Blake. We can put 3 layers on top of layers before you have to take the whole thing off and redo a roof, correct?
I hate this answer. Are you ready for this? And I hate when people say it to me, but I'm going to say it to you. Yes and no. Okay. So what do I mean by that? We have different types of roofing structures here in California. So we're going to have traditional roofing members that are going to be big, large, heavy members like 2x6s and 2x8 and 2x10s and structural beams. And those are going to be able to hold a pretty hefty weight beyond just one layer. But there's another style of roofing that's very popular on tract homes here in California, and that's called an engineered truss system. Now, on those type of systems, those are designed to carry a certain weight and a certain weight only. So at that point in time, you may have to get a further evaluation to see how many layers you can put on there that it'll hold.
Okay, thanks for that information. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's just and you know what, like I said, like for example, the house we're out here today is a 1962 property. So there's been multiple roofs up here. There's a single layer now, but more than likely they'd be able to put another layer on top of this roof because it is a traditional structure style roof, bigger, larger members.
Question, do you have contacts when you refer some roof work? Do you actually give referrals for roof work to your clients as well?
If they requested, and if they're not from the area and they don't know anyone they can trust and they're just kind of going out there blindly, then I'm always happy to give a couple guys that I've worked with for years, and send the information along and let them know that I've worked with them. I trust them. If you trust me, and then you know I can tell you they do good quality work and they're honest. So yeah, in some circumstances, I'm always happy to help out.
Awesome. What's next?
Okay, so as we go through this roof, I mean, you're seeing what I'm seeing, right? We have repairs everywhere here. Everywhere. So that's just looking at the roof coverings. But now the big important thing that we have on a roof is that we have penetrations as well. We have things that go through the roof, and those are called holes. No, vent piping. But in theory, and that's what I always try to help people understand the building science, they are literally holes in your roof. So they install them a certain way to deter water, and to make sure that it is flashed correctly, to make sure water's going around these penetrations and they're properly sealed. So right here, for example, we have, like, I like to have fun with it. These are the whirly birds. Yeah, it's a passive turbine venting. Okay. And these are going to spin so we can pull air out of our attic space. We're right above the garage right now. So this is going to go ahead and help ventilate it. But I'm going to look all around the base of it and see how they've installed it. Make sure it's not been installed upside down, for example. I see it all the time. They put here, this is called the boot, and they put the boot up there. Well, all the water's going to go underneath the boot. So we make sure those are all properly installed and they're functioning. A lot of the times, these type of ventilation systems,
Yeah.
they rust, they corrode, they need
My
maintenance.
husband used to replace those on our roof. I remember that. And then he put covers on them when it was really windy.
Because they were probably squeaking, right?
Yeah.
They're going as they go round and round. Okay, then up here on the roof. So before I ever even walk into a property, I can see how a house is laid out based on where all the vent piping and heating piping is all in the property. So I can tell you where your kitchen's at. I can tell you where your bathroom's at. I can tell you where a living room is typically at based on the fireplace and other heating type of vents. So we have different types of venting on a property. Plumbing venting, heating venting, air ventilation. And so I identify where all these are located and make sure that they match up with the components that are inside the house. What do you mean?
Now, with the inside the house, with your venting, with the plumbing in the bathrooms, that's a very common area of concern where a lot of people don't pay attention, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So just the way the ventilation system is set up is very important, and make sure that it's correctly vented. There's many a times that I go into a property, even newer builds, and someone adds a nice washing machine out in the garage because it's more convenient to get it out of the kitchen or out of a hallway of some sort, right? And so they move it and they add a plumbing system somewhere else, but they don't vent it. So that creates a problem in the plumbing system. It's going to create a siphoning action, and also could also bring back methane gas back up into your house and into your laundry. Ew, that would be some stinky laundry.
Yeah.
Some sewage laundry. There's no big deals here. My laundry just stinks a little bit, right? So, making sure that these plumbing vents associate appropriately with the plumbing system and the components inside is important.
Well, I can imagine how many views you've seen from up top of roofs.
Oh yeah, a few thousand now. I'm on roofs every day, and sometimes multiple times in a day. I go back to check things. I leave my ladder set up sometimes on older houses because I need to go look at where stuff is at inside to make sure it associates correctly to the exterior. It's an overlooked kind of thing, saying, well, I didn't see it because it wasn't there. Well, it should have been there. So, you know, checking for that type of stuff can sometimes be pretty tricky for an inspector.
I would not be comfortable walking on a roof.
No,
No,
not in your high heels.
I don't wear high heels.
Okay, Jenny. So more just interesting stuff.
Okay.
I have my fun. Oh wait, I lost you here. Oh, I have my fun tool bag with me, right? I always have my tool bag and my tools. But my most important tool that I have are my shoes. They really, really are. You said I wouldn't feel comfortable walking on a roof. I do. I grew up roofing since I was a little kid. I grew up walking on roofs with my dad as a contractor on every construction site. I loved it. It was great. But as now I walk on roofs daily, I realize that it's very important to have good traction. So, I mean, I have these.
They're like hiking shoes.
Yeah, these are top of the line Salomon hiking shoes. That's what they are, you know. These are more expensive than most of your women's pumps you got, you know. So I really every year I buy a new pair of good shoes to make sure I stay upright on these roofs.
And safe.
That's right. That's very important. Okay. This is kind of cool. This is stuff that people never get to see. So I'm down here squatting down on the roof and I'm looking right along the ridge cap. Now you can probably see it as I get along to right there. It kind of, you see that movement?
Dips.
See that wave?
Yeah, it dips.
Oh yeah. So that means our ridge cap has been sagging.
Yeah, it looks better than some of the ones I've been seeing though. You know, they're just like sticking up and you got nails sticking up off the roof.
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like
oh
that.
yeah. Oh yeah, I see all that. But this is something I would say, hey, maybe we want to get checked out. Or to
Yeah.
make sure that if we need to add some additional structural support inside, let's address it now and before it sags anymore. So, for example, I come and look at the roof first before I look at the rest of the property to be able to identify certain things like this. Where are the bathrooms? Should I be taking a look at anything structurally inside the house that I see from the roof? It's really, really an important part of my process.
That makes sense, so that you go from the outside and then in, because you're kind of like taking layers of an onion, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm seeing all this patchwork on this roof, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to those areas and I'm going to be looking for water damage. I'm going to be looking for any wood rot. I'm going to be looking for anything that that's why. I mean, why did they do that? They didn't just do that for fun. Why is there patchwork? Let's go ahead and let's find out if there's any further damage in those areas. So yeah, the roof tells us really a lot about the property. It really does. Okay, so while we're up here, we also have a chimney.
And it's got a proper thing on top there.
I know, isn't that exciting, Jenny? You know, being in this industry a while, we always call out these rain caps and spark arresters, don't we?
All the time.
And does it drive you nuts?
In the beginning, the sellers really didn't understand the concept. We had to really explain it to them.
Okay, so let's talk about this from a couple angles. One, what the building code wants, and number two, from a practical standpoint here in sunny California, right?
Yeah.
A rain cap. How much rain do we really get? How many problems could it cause? Now, it depends from chimney to chimney. That's why they recommend to get one installed, because you don't know if there has been any damage, right? Or how it has the weathering impacted the chimney. So you don't know. So the building code just says, put one on. Rather be safe than sorry here. Just put it on.
You get pigeons stuck in there. We had a pigeon stuck in ours.
Did you really?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard some stories. You know, you said a pigeon.
Yeah.
My dad had a wasp nest in his.
So that's why we definitely want to have covers so things can't go in there.
Yeah, that's another important aspect for one of these spark arresters. So that helps. But there has been times where I've seen that the water damage has impacted the structure of the chimney, and it's like, it's because there isn't a rain cap. But then again, I've seen some 60, 70-year-old chimneys that are in amazing condition that don't have a rain cap either, and I see no signs of moisture damage. So, it's going to vary from structure to structure, but if you want to be safe, put one
Either
on.
way, Santa will still come visit the kids.
You got that right. So some other things we got to remember, but we talked about these vents over here. They're really just holes in your roof, right? Well, what do you think a chimney is?
A hole.
Another hole in your roof. So we want to make sure that these penetrations going through the roof are properly flashed, that we have debris and water visibly being deterred around it. Is this catching debris? Sure is. Okay, so with debris comes moisture. So we want to make sure that's not happening on a regular basis. I'm going to pay attention to the wall on the inside of this property as well, right here at this flashing. It's always an important spot I look. Okay, then I take a look and see the flashing that goes down and around the chimney, which would be diverting the water around. Okay, so last but not least is it's really just checking for structural cracking, making sure all the mortar is in good condition. See our top cap, what type of conditions in it. Looks like this has been remortared or refinished probably in the last 15, 20 years, probably when the roof got done. It looks like I'd probably ballpark it right around the kind of the same life. And I'm just, I would go to the buyer or the seller and kind of just let them know the things that I see in regards to stuff like this. Be like, hey, the chimney looks like it's in good condition. I see that the top cap's been refinished. They put a rain cap and spark arrestor on, which is uncommon. And the flashing looks well, and the structure looks great. It probably needs to be cleaned, as most chimneys do. But other than that, I don't have any issues with it. So,
Awesome.
yes, Jenny, I like to bring the good news too.
Well, that roof is actually in pretty good condition to some of the ones I've seen lately. So yeah, but it doesn't need a complete replacement at this point in time.
No, yeah, but you can do there. The sun's hitting it just right. You can see it perfect right
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
That's the degranulation. And then we have vegetation up here. This kind of needs a little bit of maintenance, cleaning off some of these pine needles from these pine trees. And
Yes.
that's just going to trap more moisture. So we have an enclosed patio back here, which I see they ran the ducting on the exterior. That's energy efficient. And then we're going to go and check stuff like the gutters that run across, make sure they're free and clear of debris, make sure we're getting proper drainage. So yeah, those are that when I come up here on a roof, these are the type of things that I look for, the type of stuff that the type of information I try to provide to the buyers.
Awesome. Now, so for sellers, they need to, a lot of people just never go up on their roofs. So they should probably just say, hey, find someone, in, I don't know, online, or somebody who does it, people that go up and they clean out gutters and stuff like that. So that's a good hint for everybody to, maybe once every 3 months or 6 months to go up and make sure and clean out your gutters, make sure and check all the areas, have someone make sure everything's all cleaned out.
Yeah. And, like I said, a home inspection is really, it's the process, and applying to what you're talking about here is that I always look for, and I think about this from a kind of a standpoint of how's the weather here? How's the weather impact? How could the weather in this region impact this property with the type of systems that we have, the type of roofing or walls or drainage around the property? I always have to consider that. So we're out here in the Inland Empire. I'm in Rancho Cucamonga myself, but I get called up to Big Bear. I get called up to Lake Arrowhead and Arrow Bear and Crestline, all those areas where the weather's different.
It's a completely different animal up there. Yeah.
Sure. So the sellers and buyers should understand If you're in somewhere like there that has more inclement weather, your property is going to get probably worn faster. So those are things to really pay attention to, depending on how your weather, your climate is. Like versus the beach houses, we deal with whole different structural issues on the beach than we do out here in Ranch Cucamonga or Corona.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So okay, let's make this. So we're out here in the Inland Empire. Let's talk about like down near Lake Matthews or down in Lake Elsinore, some of the properties that some of the properties that serve the lake areas. They get a lot more moisture impact on their properties than houses over here. So back in the 60s and 70s, where they said, hey, this is going to be cool, let's build by some water. That's awesome. Well, they were using building materials that weren't that compatible in some of these builds. And so we get rusting and structural issues, not from the fact that the earth is an issue or that they had rain damage, but they've had continual higher humidity touching this property that they didn't think about what's going to happen in 40 years, what's going to happen in 50 years of this property. And so the materials weren't so compatible. So I've seen some structural issues that I've never seen, like down in that area versus something that's, more inland or away from the water. Yeah, makes a big difference.
Yeah, I have noticed going out there, especially it had to have been about 3 or 4 years ago. We had a really, really big storm, and it flooded in Lake Elsinore in that one area by the lake. And we were going and looking at some property, and literally, weeds were up here. You would go into a house and there was mud on the inside of the house from when the water had come into the house. They had built it up a little bit, but they hadn't built it up enough. So, then you're seeing a lot of rebuilding down there now, a lot of people flipping down there and trying to remodel. But then I have some buyers say, I saw that house before they fixed it. I don't quite trust after the rehab going and buying that house now that it's fixed up, because I'm not sure what they did and didn't do to it. So what is your opinion on that?
That's what's so great about buying a property with a professional real estate agent. Under the real estate agent really can get down to the natural hazards disclosures and start finding out so much more about a property. Now, my take on it here is this. That's why real estate agents are licensed professionals. It's that some of this stuff definitely falls within your scope of work, such as that. Now, regarding my job and like kind of my take on it here is that, if I see that something could be impacting a property, I definitely say get further review on this. Start off with your natural hazards disclosures, start with that from there. See if there's been any insurance claims or anything on this property in the past regarding water damage or any type of impact from the natural hazards, right? What's been going on with the hillside, stuff like that. This is all great information that you can pick and pry throughout your transaction. So therefore, you're making a good decision.
I have another question. Now, there are a lot of tract homes that were built in the early 2000s. And I know, I bought one of them. And a lot of them have the HOAs. They have hills in the back that sometimes are maintained by the HOAs, sometimes they're not. They have retaining walls, some don't have retaining walls. Have you started to see any sort of degrading in these things that are meant to protect these hills from coming down? Because I don't know why builders in the 2000s started thinking, hey, let's put hills in people's backyards so they have less yard, but they still have this much land, but they don't have as much yard to deal with because we put these hills up here.
Sure. So this is what I get to see on a regular basis. And there's a building code and a building standard. And now, a property inspector or a home inspector is not a code inspector by any means. But, I need to know the codes, and I need to understand why they're in place and why they're there for the different reasons is what you're talking about. So many times I see them put in a retaining wall to hold back earth, and they don't install proper drainage. Well, that maybe doesn't impact anything at first, kind of what you're referring to, but over 10, 15, 20, 25 years with improper drainage, what's the impact on the backside of that wall and the pressure? It gets a lot heavier. It's a lot heavier, starts pushing, and then we start seeing the leaning of it, or the loose walls because they didn't use proper backfill, or they didn't put proper top caps on top of the wall, which is allowing water to come in. These are all deficiencies that I see on retaining walls, and I recommend to be repaired or fixed. Not that it's going to fall over tomorrow, but that the impact over time is going to be much more costly and potentially unsafe if it's not addressed and done the correct way.
So those are the things to look for. And yes, you are kind of seeing it a little bit. I know the house that I had, we had a easement between us and the neighbor. And so that was the drainage there. So we didn't have an issue, but I know that other people did. So because it was just kind of crazy, you know, because it takes a long time for plants to build up on the hills in order for the moisture to be soaked in by the plants. And then sometimes those original plants get washed away by the first storm. So there's a lot of things that are kind of, you have to look at when they were building things in certain times, just kind of like in the 60s, in the 50s, when they were building homes, they just kind of built them just to build them in whatever way they figured out to build them. They add a home room here and they add a bathroom here. Then, okay, now we get to have a washer and dryer. So we're going to build a room over here. And then in the 70s, they started doing tract homes. And then in the 80s, then they started changing things up and making things a little more modern. And then in the 90s, we kind of hit like a little hitch because we did have a little bit of a shift at that point. And then in the 2000s, they started building these big homes with the HOAs, with special assessments, with gates, with, you know, all that fun stuff. So we're seeing kind of everything kind of rolling back, and people are liking the houses back in the 1960s more because they have character. And they know that they have good bones most of the time. As long as they have, my buyers are always saying, as long as they have good bones, we're good. You know.
So, you know, that's what you bring something up. You brought up all these different generations of houses, and you know, you as a real estate professional can see how things change from every 10, 12 years in building construction, and the way the materials that they use are just, you start like, why did they do things then? You know, it's like, I've stopped asking why at this point. You know, buyers will come up to me and say, why did they do that way? And I go, you know,
I don't know, but the yellow and blue kitchens and bathrooms are my absolute favorite. I would never, ever change the colors. I'm telling you, and I've told my husband, if we buy the next house and it has original, you know, pink, not pink, but like blues and yellows, those colors, those are awesome. But in any other house, what was that?
I heard those colors are coming back.
I sure hope so, because these colors we have now are kind of boring as far as I'm concerned. I'm into the pinks and the reds, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at a 1938 house down here in Ontario. Beautiful custom build. It was all brick home. I mean, you don't see those very often. All masonry walling, cladding and structure. It was pretty cool. And you go in the bathroom, and the bathroom was all turquoise tile, top to bottom, left and right. And I was like, cool, you know. And I looked at the buyers because someone had redone the master, all modern. It didn't belong in the house almost. It was so modern versus the remainder of the property. And I asked them, I said, what do you guys think about those tiles in there? And they looked at me and they're like, we need to do our master like that. And I'm like,
exactly. See
what? Like, oh, you're not trying to remodel it. You're trying to keep it in the same.
Good luck trying to find the material though, right?
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
think, people they need to open their minds a little bit more when they're looking at houses and look at the potential that it has already and then build upon it rather
sure.
than trying to just pull it all down.
Yeah,
Because some people say, I'm just going to tear that out. I'm going to tear that out. I'm going to tear that out. That's fine. First, figure out what you want to keep first,
sure. Absolutely.
because sometimes they take it out and they're like, man, I wish I hadn't done that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But is there anything else that you want to add?
No, you know what? This has been so much fun. I really appreciate you reaching out to me and working with me on this. This has been a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you too. I appreciate you taking me up on the roof because I wouldn't be doing it myself.
I thought, how can I keep? How will they be entertained? And I'm like, well, my job is kind of boring. I'm an inspection nerd, sure, but what I do isn't exciting to anybody else. I'm like, but you know what? Let's do something a little bit different. Instead of just sitting behind a desk or standing on the ground, let's take you somewhere where you don't get to go.
That's awesome. Well, Blake, thank you. And go ahead and give your name, company name, and your phone number for everybody to get a hold of you again.
Sure. I'm Blake Sturkle with Morrison Plus Property Inspections, Rancho Cucamonga, Inland Empire Division here. www.morrisoninspects.com/Rancho Cucamonga is where you'll find me. We're the inspectors that you know and trust. Call 877-858+. America's premier property inspection company, Morrison Plus Property Inspections.
Thank you so much, Blake. Have a great day and be safe getting off the roof.
All right, Jenny, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We're going to take a commercial break. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk about down payment assistance with Golden State Finance Authority. You are watching the Powers Now TV Homebuyers Townhall Corona. We'll be right back. Joining us, welcome to the Homebuyer Townhall Corona. My name is Jenny Gonzalez with Keller Williams Corona. Please go to thepowersnow.com and check out our real estate magazine, HUD Home magazine. There are lots of deals from our VIP agents on the Powers Now TV. Today we have Carolyn Sansari with Golden State Finance Authority. Welcome, Carolyn, to the show.
Thank you, Jenny. It's great to be here. I'm excited to delve into the down payment assistance programs from Golden State Finance Authority. It's a passion of mine, not just my job, to sit here and talk about homebuyer assistance programs. We all know that affordability in California is quite a challenge right now. Prices have been quite high recently, but we've seen some extremely low interest rates. And so there is an opportunity for people to start building some financial security through real estate, even with high prices. And one of the biggest challenges that we see today with millennials, what we see with people trying to get back into the home buyer market, is coming up with the cash resources for down payment and closing costs. So I'm pleased to be here because I do want to show some solutions to the affordability issue by sharing with everyone on this Zoom event about the down payment assistance programs from Golden State Finance Authority. So with that, I would like to share my screen and go through some slides just so I can make sure that I cover the most important content to the realtors with us today. The way that I like to discuss the topic with real estate agents is really from a perspective of you not losing sales, not losing transactions because of someone's financial position. And oftentimes a real estate agent is the first person to kind of find out where someone is in terms of what kind of resources they have. And so you as a real estate agent can be the link to programs that can make a difference, that can maybe get them into a house sooner than they thought possible, maybe give them more purchasing power. So imagine as a real estate agent, what can down payment assistance do for you and your clients? Golden State Finance Authority has been offering homebuyer assistance programs in California for almost 30 years. We've been able to help over 83,000 individuals and families to purchase homes. And the vast majority of the time, it's because of the down payment and closing cost assistance that we provide. We've been able to provide over $634 million in down payment and closing cost assistance money in California. And we are a public agency, a quasi-governmental agency, and that gives us the ability to take your standard mortgage products that we've all heard of and then couple them with down payment, closing cost assistance, and flexible guidelines to allow for people to get into homes maybe sooner than they thought possible. But when people think of down payment assistance, whether it's a lender or home buyer or real estate agent, oftentimes they hesitate to look into it because they're worried about some of the things that may actually make it more challenging. So let's start off by just talking about the flexibility and maybe breaking some of the myths out there around down payment assistance. When it comes to Golden State Finance Authority's programs, we really focus on accessibility. So they are not limited to first-time home buyers. So whether somebody is returning to home buying, they owned a home in the past, or maybe they're a first-time home buyer, or maybe they own a property today, but they're going to be purchasing a new residence that they're moving into as an owner-occupied residence. And I don't mean new property. I just mean they're going to be moving into a new home to them, and the cash resources to get in with down are short. So again, no first-time home buyer requirement on the GSFA programs. In addition, the down payment assistance that our programs provide is up to 7% of the loan amount. And that's a lot of money. We're going to look at an example of how much cash that really can give them. The income limits are extremely flexible. In fact, we don't even have income limits on government loans, but we'll dive into that a little bit more, as well as some of the qualifying guidelines. But I'd like to start off with dispelling the myth that you have to be you have to have perfect credit, or that you can't have any debts or liabilities. It's very flexible. FICO scores are allowed as low as 620, and even debt to income ratios up to 50% can qualify. Variety of different financing options, and the programs are available throughout the state of California. On your screen is an example of utilizing our Open Doors program to purchase a house at the maximum loan that we can actually finance through the program. The loan amount, the maximum is $548,250. So I'm using a scenario of the highest amount purchase price, the highest sales price on a home that would allow you to only use the down payment and closing cost assistance from Golden State Finance Authority to buy that house, okay? So this example is a home of $565,000. They have cash of their own, they would be able to purchase higher than this. If they had resources to cover the closing costs, they could purchase higher than this by using all of the money we provide towards the principal. But this is an example, $565,000, and that allows them 7% or up to 7% in assistance. That comes to $38,363. and leaving them with a mortgage loan of $548,50. Now, $38,000, imagine that. That is enough to cover the minimum required on down for a conventional loan that only requires 3% down. That's enough to cover that $16,950 in down. And it leaves them with another $21,000 for closing costs. they have some cash of their own, they can apply that additional $21,000, apply the entire $38,000 coming from Golden State Finance Authority towards the transaction. And that would allow them to purchase probably up to about $580,000. And just showing you an example here of how the affordability can be maximized through using down payment and closing cost assistance. Now we have two different down payment programs. The first one is called Platinum. It's been around a little bit longer. It's been around since 2010. It's our most popular one, and the reason is because for certain occupations in law enforcement, firefighting, and all the support staff in schools, whether public or private, and within the medical and healthcare industries, we provide the down payment assistance for this program, Platinum, as a gift on the first day that escrow closes. So they start out with equity in their home on day one and don't have to pay back that assistance. Now, outside of these specialized occupations, the rest of the borrowers are getting the down payment assistance as a 0% second mortgage instead, and it's forgiven after 3 years. So instead of a gift on day one, the other borrowers will be getting a second loan that has no interest, no payments, and after 36 months is completely forgiven. And that's what I think makes this program the most attractive to home buyers. But when you want to refer someone to a GSFA participating lender, the lender is going to dive into the nuances of these two programs and what's the right fit for them. And I'm just covering some of the highlights of these two programs. The Platinum program allows 640 FICO score on conventional loans, 660 on FHA, and as low as 640 for VA and USDA mortgages. And then you'll notice that the maximum debt to income ratios are around 45 and sometimes up to 50% when the borrower has a little bit higher FICO. Now, the second program is geared towards providing more in assistance. Platinum was able to provide 5%, Open Doors provides up to 7%. So the borrowers that don't have down payment money, they also don't have closing cost money, sometimes being able to get up to 7% is going to be a better fit. This program might be the better fit. Now, the assistance provided for the Open Doors program is provided as part gift, up to half of it as a gift, and the other half as what we call a 0% second mortgage that's due and payable when they sell the property or they refinance that mortgage or the mortgage loan itself is paid off. So there is a repayment of part of the assistance that's provided for this Open Doors program. But again, when you have a borrower that doesn't have a lot of cash resources and they can qualify for a mortgage today, this allows them to get into the property today, to start building equity, start building financial security, knowing that the assistance that was provided to help them, up to half of it is completely forgiven, and the other half they would pay back at some future date without any interest on it. The FICO scores that are allowed for the Open Doors program become a little bit more flexible. We can go down to 620 FICOs and up to 55% on debt to income ratios, depending on the underwriting approval. Now, all of the programs are for, both of the programs are for the purchase of a primary residence. It's going to be a residence that they own or occupy, but the programs can go up to 4 units. And maybe you've never considered that. You have a borrower who has this picture of the perfect little property that they're looking for, but you know that we don't have the inventory out there and that they may have to start thinking outside the box. So consider how a borrower might actually be in a really good position by buying a duplex or a triplex. Up to 4 units can be financed with our down payment and closing cost assistance programs. All of the mortgages, whether they are government loans, FHA, VA, or USDA, or a conventional loan, They are 30-year fixed rate interest, and the maximum loan amount, as I mentioned, on the mortgage, the first mortgage, is going to be $548,250. Now, sometimes it's going to be really advantageous for a borrower to go with conventional financing, and that's because those borrowers in a lower income bracket that can qualify for conventional financing are going to get more attractive pricing, meaning better interest rates on the program. They're going to get better coverage, better costs on their MI because they don't have to have as much mortgage insurance, and they'll have a little bit more flexibility in the down payment options. But I don't want you to think that you have to be low income. You don't. A borrower can qualify for FHA, VA, and USDA loans, government loans, no matter what the income is. We don't have an income limit. Now, you do have to refer to the agency guidelines. So if there is an USDA income limit for a property, that might apply. We don't apply any income limits. And for conventional financing, our income limits are really high. There's an example here on the screen of San Bernardino, Los Angeles, and Riverside County. And as you can see, it's a really high income. It's like $162,000 that they can still qualify for down payment and closing cost assistance. As I mentioned, there's some MI advantages, some mortgage insurance advantages, because the coverage that they need on a conventional loan for the borrowers in a lower income bracket at 80% of area median income and below, their coverage level actually drops drastically. But you know, this is where the loan officer gets involved in what's going to be the best fit for them. Now, as a real estate agent, I get a lot of questions about whether or not accessing or referring somebody to a down payment assistance program is going to make the entire escrow slow down or make it more challenging, you know, and how can they reassure a seller or a buyer that down payment assistance is a good option, that you know, a seller should not hesitate to take an offer with somebody who's getting down payment assistance. One of the biggest factors has to do with how we don't have any compliance review. We leave all of the actual mortgage loan processing and making sure that the borrower qualifies, we leave that to the lender. And so the only step where a lender is working directly with Golden State Finance Authority is at the time that they lock in the interest rate. And that when they do lock in the interest rate, they obtain a commitment for the down payment and closing cost money as well. And that step is really important. But once that lock is done, they are given those documents from Golden State Finance Authority, and then they go through the mortgage loan just like they normally would, which means your lenders, your GSFA lenders, can process down payment assistance programs in 30 days. I was on a call just the other day, and we had a lender who was saying that they could do 22 days. So keep in mind that just because it's a down payment assistance program, when you work with GSFA's program, it's not going to slow down escrow. There isn't going to be an additional compliance review step or additional forms that have to be turned in or a package that has to be reviewed that you then think could actually cause a problem during escrow. And the qualifying guidelines are so few. You yourself, if you had the ability, could talk to the borrower and mention the FICO limitations or FICO requirements of 620 or above, or the DTI. You know, on our website, we have the income limits for conventional financing, so you're able to look at that. And then, you know, knowing the needs of the borrower, get them in touch with a lender that can really look further into their situation and figure out which program will be best. But I don't want you to take my word for it. Here on the screen is some testimonials from people who have actually written in letters thanking GSFA for the program, for getting them into houses. And as you can see, you're looking at a borrower here that's getting $13,000, another that got $18,000, people who were renting for years and years, and even during COVID have been able to purchase a home and move into it. How do you get started? As a real estate agent, it's really important that you work with a GSFA participating lender, especially the ones who are experienced in GSFA programs, because they're going to understand the guidelines. They're going to, have a process in place for locking in the loan rate and getting that commitment letter, and they're going to stay in contact with you. That is really important. And so what I suggest for all of the real estate agents is to develop a one-on-one relationship with lenders and loan officers themselves, so that you can do referrals the minute you find out that a borrower has a need for down payment and closing cost assistance. Our lenders are going to be the one to furnish the interest rates and to provide the applicable APRs. They're the ones that are going to go through the application, the mortgage loan application process, and check eligibility, and then determine whether it's the Platinum program or the Open Doors program that's going to be the best fit for the borrower. We don't expect real estate agents to memorize all the guidelines, but understanding the key features of the program, understanding that they're more flexible than most people think, that they're not limited to first-time home buyers, that's the first step. Because once you believe in the value of these programs, you can then educate your borrowers and link them to GSFA participating lenders. Now, as Eric mentioned, we have done some videos on the website. And so if you would like a more in-depth look at either the Platinum or the Open Doors program, we highly encourage that you visit the website and look at the program pages. There's the videos on our YouTube pages as well, and also on the Power Is Now website as well. These videos really dive into how the programs work. There's even a video with a couple who have used the Platinum program and share their experience. First Bank is one of our participating lenders. You have Eric with us today, so I highly encourage reaching out to him. His contact information is here, and I'm sure we're going to leave you with a website to reach out to either Eric or myself after this presentation as well. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Carolyn. Now let's hear from Eric Frazier with First Bank about CalHalf and other great down payment assistant loans. Welcome, Eric, to the show.
Hello, my name is Eric Frazier, and I'm a Vice President and Mortgage Advisor with First Bank. My license number is 461807. Now, I cover 48 states. That's right. I'm able to lend in 48 states. So if you're watching this video anywhere, just about anywhere, give me a call. Now, First Bank is a privately held bank, been around since 1910. And as a privately held bank, we're able to do a lot. We take a holistic approach to our customers. So not only are we able to offer the basics of, various investment accounts and checking and savings accounts, but we offer business loans as well as personal loans and auto loans. And we just do it all, credit cards. Now, my role as a mortgage advisor is to assist our clients with purchasing a home or refinancing a home. And First Bank has some incredible programs. So the first one is the professional program, which is for doctors and for lawyers, as well as CPAs, as well as attorneys. So these are professionals that are able to finance up to $1 million with only 5% down and no mortgage insurance. And we're talking about an intermediate arm where it's fixed for a 7-year period at interest rates that are below 3%. Contact me if you're interested in our professional program. We also offer down payment assistance programs for FHA, VA, USDA programs. We have programs that will give you enough money to cover the down payment and just about all of the closing costs. Now, not all of it, but almost all of it. You may only have to bring in, after all is said and done, maybe 1 or 2% of the purchase price to close. Down payment assistance. We are leading the conversation in down payment assistance here at First Bank. And then, of course, we offer all types of portfolio programs, super jumbo loans up to $3 million or more. I tell you, if you're looking for a great bank with a mortgage advisor with a lot of experience to assist you and to help you navigate through all that we have to offer, please give us a call. You can reach me at 714-475-8629, or you can drop me an email at eric.frazier@fbol.com. Please allow First Bank to be your first call when you start your research on interest rates or purchasing or refinancing your home. We have competitive interest rates. We provide great service. Now, I am a mortgage banker for 40 years. I've been helping people to achieve the American dream of homeownership and assisting them with refinancing their properties. I have a master's in business administration with an emphasis in finance. I know what I'm doing. I can provide you great advice as a mortgage advisor in selecting the right program. So reach out to me. You can call me directly at 714-475-8629. That's 714-475-8629, or drop me an email at eric.frazier@fbol.com. That's Frank, Bill, Olive, Love.com. Look forward to hearing from you. If you want to get started right away, go to applytobuynow.com and you can start your application right now. If you'd like to download my mobile app, please go to qualifietobuynow.com, where you can download my mobile app and receive more information about the programs we have to offer and schedule an appointment to meet with me. Thank you for watching. Remember, the power is now.
Thank you, Eric, for that. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about homes for sale and strategies for selling your property.
Want to keep up with the current developments happening in the world of real estate? The Real Estate Roundtable, hosted by Eric L. Frazier, is a show you do not want to miss. The show features a panel of VIP agents who are passionate about helping people. It is what they do best. They discuss today's hot topics, latest market updates and trends. The panel also conducts interviews with prominent figures in the industry. New episode every Friday live on Facebook and replay on the Power Is Now YouTube channel.
Back. For those of you just joining us, welcome to the Homebuyer Townhall Corona. My name is Jenny Gonzalez. Please go to thepowersnow.com and check out our realtor and homebuyer seminars coming soon online. Register today to get your seat. I promise you will not be disappointed. What I want to talk today about when it talks to listings and real estate is to sellers. If you're standing on the fence, I just want you to put yourself in buyer's shoes. There are a lot of buyers out there, especially buyers that were tenants, and the landlord decided to sell the homes because the prices were right where they wanted to be, and they wanted to take advantage of their equity, which we really don't blame them for doing that. A lot of people have done that, but it's left a lot of people going to live in apartments, going to live with their families, and they're just looking for their homes. And they're looking for first-time home buyer homes. Some of them are looking for their next homes. So right now, I am just talking to sellers that are on the fence. If you're on the fence for even buying 3 years from now, 2 years from now, a month from now, next week, please give me a call, because I can guarantee you, if you list your property with me, I promise I will find that buyer for you, and I will help you find that next home. So I want to thank you for attending my show on the Power Is Now TV. I hope the information was beneficial. If I could be of any assistance to you on buying or selling a home, please contact me at 951-316-0374. My name is Jenny Gonzalez. I'm with Keller Williams Corona. My license is 01249788. Been licensed since 1998. My website is jennygsaleshomes.com, and I want to let you know the power is now to act, not tomorrow. The power is today. We don't know what's happening tomorrow. So today, let's conquer those things that we've been afraid of and go ahead and go into your next step of your journey. Have a blessed day.